Hello everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon. On this episode we're going to be making strawberry pound cakes. And you can make them just plain or fancy. And I'll show you how that's all done and give you the recipe amounts. So stay with me. But before we do, a quick reminder that my cookbook is available on Amazon. And I've provided a quick link in the description below this video. Okay, so right to today's recipe. It's about strawberries and what can you do with strawberries. They're in season right about now, so everybody's looking for a good recipe. Here's one for you to try. I'm sure you're going to love it. So start by washing and preparing 1.5 cups of chopped strawberries. Now right to the recipe, and here are the amounts. Start by adding 1 cup of white sugar to a large mixing bowl. Now you're going to need 3/4 cup of melted butter. And add that to the mixing bowl. Crack open 2 large eggs in a small little dish. I make sure there's no broken pieces of shell in it, and then I add it to the mixing bowl. Now I'm going to add the paddle attachment and get the mixer to do the work. Just mix it until it's combined just a little bit. Now we'll add about 1/2 cup of sour cream. And I think it's a good idea to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I use pure vanilla, but you can use the extract if that's what you have on hand. And once again, mix that in. Now we'll add about 1/3 cup of milk, and that should complete our wet ingredients. So we'll mix that together, and then we'll start with some dry ingredients. We'll go to about 1 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. So we're going to balance this out with a little bit of rising power. So add 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Just to heighten the flavor a little bit, add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now to give it a final mix until everything is well incorporated and there's no more flour pockets. Okay, so the batter looks nice and creamy. I think it's time to just scrape everything down, and we'll remove the paddle attachment, add a large spoon so that we can fold in our strawberries. So we'll add 1.5 cups of freshly chopped strawberries. And like I already indicated, we're just going to fold those in. So we'll take the spoon and just keep folding it over top of itself a little bit and back and forth until the strawberries are evenly distributed in the batter. So don't overmix, just enough to make it even. And today I'm going to use a silicone muffin pan and maybe a little bit of silicone liners and see how that works. I just lightly greased them using a little bit of butter or margarine. The consistency of the batter looks good, so now we're ready to spoon them into the muffin pan. I don't like them to be too awful big, and I want them to be sure to cook through as well, so I think that's about right. The recipe amounts today will make about 14 of these pound cakes. And I use silicone liners inside of a regular muffin tin, so we'll see how these work as well. You place them in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven. I put them on the middle rack. I would suggest setting the timer for about 15 minutes to check on them. They're done when a toothpick inserted in the middle comes out clean, but they may take between 15 to 20 minutes depending on how full you've filled them. Okay, they look nicely browned. I think I'm going to give them a check. These ones took probably about 17 minutes. So I check them with a toothpick and hey, it comes out clean. So we're good to go. Now these silicone liners, I noted I could take them out of the muffin tin while they were still hot even. It was amazing because the silicone stays on the cool side in spite of how hot they get in the oven. And to remove them, you don't have to wait till they're completely cool to do that either. It just pops out so easily. And with the muffin tin, you just push up from the bottom and they pop out quite easily. These strawberry pound cakes are good just like they are, but I'm going to show you how to fancy them up a little bit, and it'll be your choice how you want to serve them. We're going to use some homemade strawberry jam, some Nutella, and some whipping cream. Take some Nutella on a spoon and spread that over the top of each of them. I'm using homemade strawberry jam, and I'm putting a little bit on the middle. And the beauty of this part is if you like Nutella quite a bit, you can spread this a little bit thicker. And so it's up to you, or if you just want a hint of it, then put a nice thin film over the top like this. I'm using some of my freezer jam here, which works, but if you have a jam that's a little bit thicker, it might stay on a little bit better for you. Now I'm going to use a little bit of gelatin because I want to do some stabilized whipped cream. Alright, so let me show you how that's done as well. So it's 2 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin. Place it in a bowl. And add 2 tablespoons of lukewarm water. Give that a little bit of a stir. And then let it sit for a little bit and allow the gelatin to kind of dissolve in it. So maybe for about 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to whip up about 473 ml of whipping cream, which is probably about 1 3/4 cup. And I use the hand mixer and whip that until it forms stiff peaks. Now add 1/2 cup of icing sugar. Some might call that confectioner's sugar, whatever you're used to calling it, but 1/2 cup of that, and then whip that in until it's well combined. That will sweeten it up a little bit. And then we'll go back to our gelatin. Now place your little bowl of gelatin in the microwave, and we just microwave it for just a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds, and just enough to kind of activate that gelatin a little bit, make it dissolve. It'll form a little bit of a paste like this, a soft paste, which is fine. Let your dissolved gelatin cool off a little bit before you add it to the whipping cream, so just give it a couple of minutes and then add it and whip it in until it's well combined. I place it in a large piping bag and pipe some over the top in circles like this so that you cover everything and seal it in. Be a nice surprise when you bite into that. Now to top that off real nicely, we'll go ahead and slice some fresh strawberries and place that on the top. Alright, one more thing. Cut up a Dairy Milk chocolate bar. I just take the squares from that and cut them into quarters and place a little piece of chocolate on the top. Thanks for watching today's video and for watching it all the way through. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe, and until next time, happy eating. Now go make some.